Arsenal 4, Crystal Palace 1. This win now puts Arsenal 8 points ahead of Manchester City going into the international break. This is 6 wins on the bounce for the Gunners after their loss against Manchester City. This match had a lot of news pregame. Arsenal invincible legend Patrick Vieira was sacked by Crystal Palace right before the game. See Crystal Palace's recent results. I mean, they have not been great. They hadn't scored in the previous 4 games before this one, and they had not won a game since December 31st against Bournemouth. It's a bit of a harsh sacking, but new manager bounce could have affected us in this game, but it really didn't. There was also some worrying news for us during the week. Obviously, our star player William Saliba started every game for us in the league this season, was injured in our midweek game against Sporting Lisbon, and he was ruled out several weeks, which is a big worry as he's such a key part of this team. Now Rob Holding will have to step in and fill those shoes. Other big news during the pregame was Joachim Andersen, who's arguably Crystal Palace's best defender, was ruled out of the game and was replaced by James Tompkins. So this is how Arsenal lined up in their regular 4-3-3 with White Holding, filling in for Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Partey, Odegaard, Xhaka, and then the front three of Martinelli, Trossard, Saka. If you watch Arsenal this year, you know that this is not how the formation looks like on the field. You see guys roaming around, picking up open spaces, and when we usually attack, what will happen is Zinchenko will drop here into the midfield, and it will sort of create this 3-2-5 formation. You'll see in today's game, I thought a big key of the game was this triangle right here, Odegaard, White, and Saka. The way they were able to interchange and create spaces and make runs for each other, and the link up is how we really attacked. The first big chance of the game actually was the chance from Crystal Palace where they caught us on the counterattack, and Wilfried Zaha here finds himself in open space, makes a run. Zaha ends up finding himself a good shot and actually hits off the post. We end up finding our breakthrough here with this triangle that I talked about with White, Odegaard, and Saka. White's able to find Saka right here. He's able to dribble in, hit a cross in to Martinelli on this side. You see in this tactical board right here when White gives this ball to Saka. Saka's got 3 options here. Trossard, Xhaka, Martinelli that he can cross to. He ends up finding Martinelli, who actually, when he receives this ball, has his momentum going this way, but is able to shoot it with his weak foot into the far corner. White finds Saka, Martinelli, far post, and that's a goal. About 12 minutes later, we see Arsenal creating more chances down this right-hand side with White, Odegaard, and Saka. Odegaard finds White, and then Saka makes a diagonal run here where White finds him, and then Saka's able to pass it to Odegaard, who gets a shot on goal. Doesn't go in, but look at the runners. You see when Odegaard gets his ball, he has options here. Martinelli is right in the middle of the field. You got Xhaka, who found himself near the penalty spot, and then Trossard out wide, where he could have ended up passing him the ball. You see here, Trossard's open on the outside, Martinelli on the edge of the box, but Odegaard ends up trying to shoot and just drags it a bit wide. Just a minute later, Arsenal find their second goal, and if we look at where the players are positioned for this goal, you'll see how free-flowing this attack is. Xhaka, who was at the penalty spot, is now out wide. Trossard is now in the penalty box. We have Odegaard and Zinchenko near the edge of the box. Gabriel ends up picking the ball up here, gets it wide to Xhaka, and then joins in the attack. You'll see Gabriel right here, the center back, joining in. Xhaka passes it to Zinchenko here. Zinchenko then feeds Xhaka, who's on a run, and you see again 3 options in the box for Xhaka to pick out. Xhaka ends up crossing the ball in, but doesn't find anybody. Saka then picks it back up. Boom, Saka feeds it to White again on this right hand side. White ends up finding Saka, who making sort of a horizontal run into the box. And look at this. Look at the three guys on the outside here waiting for the ball. But Saka ends up taking it himself. Honestly, very easy for Arsenal. We flip this to the second half again, in control of the game. We see this 3-2-5 sort of attacking formation, but here for the third goal, Odegaard is actually out wide. Saka's here. Zinchenko makes a pass into Granit Xhaka. Zinchenko is such a crucial part of this build-up. Xhaka then finds Trossard in the middle of the pitch, and then Xhaka, we see Saka making runs into the box. Trossard ends up finding a through ball to Xhaka, who scores the third goal. Very simple, very easy for Arsenal. We end up conceding a silly goal from a corner, which made it 3-1, which we need to fix up our set piece defending. But Crystal Palace had some more chances. Zaha nearly scored, but we kept it at 3-1. And then for our fourth goal, we see Tierney came in for Zinchenko. Jesus comes in for Trossard. The ball sort of starts out wide. Tierney finds Martinelli. Martinelli's going to pass it to Odegaard, who then Martinelli's going to drift sort of in the middle of the field. And then Odegaard's going to pass it to Jesus. And as he does, Odegaard makes a run outside. Martinelli makes a run inside. Saka goes out here. Tierney's going to make a run down the wing. And then Jesus is going to dribble towards the middle of the field. The ball, he tries to pass it to Tierney, ends up getting deflected, but Tierney then ends up getting it back. And we see, again, three options in the box here. But the one that Tierney picks out is Bukayo Saka. And Saka's going to hit it first time for our fourth goal. I know I've talked all video about the way Arsenal attack and their free flowingness, but something that doesn't get mentioned enough that is so crucial to this team and big part of our success is the way that we defend, and mainly the way that the wingers defend Saka and Martinelli and how they always help out. They always get involved. Odegaard constantly pressing, and the way that we defend in numbers, doesn't leave us exposed at the back. I think that the unselfishness of the players, off the ball to constantly press, especially the attackers, is such a big key as to why we are top of the table. And that's credit to Mikel Arteta. 10 games to go in this Premier League season. 10 games, and we can be crowned champions. You look at our fixture list, we got Leeds coming up next after the international break, but the big games for me, Liverpool away, Anfield, it's going to be tough. Then that big game against Manchester City, which could be title deciding game. But 10 games to go, 8 points clear of Manchester City, who do have the extra game to play.